Well, welcome in once again, everybody, to another edition of Pick Your Politics. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers. Glad to have you tuning in on whatever platform you might be watching us. We've got an interesting show today because we're going to kind of go behind the scenes a little bit. You know, normally we have candidates on that are running for office. We have people who are in office who want to get reelected, both, locally, statewide, nationally. But today we have a little bit different kind of a guest, and I'm really glad to have them in studio so we get, like I say, kind of a behind the scenes look at maybe some of the things that some of the voters aren't really privy to or don't know a lot about. John Burke is the spokesman for Better Nevada PAC. And we'll get into that. And John, thanks so much for coming in because I know you're busy.
Great to be with you, Dennis. Thanks for having me.
Very. First of all, tell our viewers and listeners, what is a PAC? Everybody, Political Action Committee, yeah, you know that. But a lot of people don't know really what a PAC does and what it's comprised of and why it's important and why candidates have them. And there are different kinds of PACs as well. So what is a PAC and what does it do primarily? And why should candidates have a PAC?
Well, generally, PACs are put together to try to support candidates in their election efforts and their political efforts. There's a lot of different types. There are federal ones.
Right.
We are a state PAC, and our main mission is to support Governor Joe Lombardo independently. And that comes with two main goals that we have. We want to push his agenda. We want to support his efforts, both as politically as we can. And we also want to hold Democrats accountable at the ballot box and try to make sure voters are educated on why we need changes, because we are supporting Republican candidates around the state.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you go about getting money for the PAC?
Well, we bring in donations and try to bring in the resources we need to get ourselves in a position where we can get our message out to voters, because that's how you win elections these days. You have to make your case to the people of the state. And there's no more competitive place right now than Nevada for that. There's no more purple state in the country where you see razor thin elections, both at the federal level and the state level. And that's why we're active. That's why we're going forward and trying to make a difference.
Like I keep saying on every show, I tip my hat to everybody who runs for office because it's almost a 24/7 thing. It's blood, sweat, and tears, but you need money to get the word out. And that's why PACs obviously are very, very helpful. The difference between a normal PAC, for lack of a better word, as you have, and a super PAC, what is that?
Well, we're one that works locally in Nevada, and our focus is on candidates who are in the state. And this election, we're going to be focused on the state assembly and the state senate, because those are where we're going to need gains to try to protect Governor Lombardo's ability to govern. And that includes veto power. That includes the ability to get legislation passed that is good for Nevadans, that's consistent with the agenda that he's put forward. And that's going to be our main goal through next year.
That is an excellent goal. You're one seat away from the Dems having a super majority, if I'm not mistaken, in the Senate. Mm-hmm. And life would be so much easier if that got corrected, so to speak.
That's right. So at the moment, there is a supermajority in the state assembly by one seat.
Yeah.
So if we are able to pick up one seat in next year's elections, we'll be able to protect the governor's veto power from a supermajority.
Yeah.
In the state senate, they are one away from that.
Yeah.
So the math couldn't be any more thin on that. And we definitely need to make sure we get good candidates in these races who are able to win. Because if the Democrats are able to get a supermajority, they'll be able to override vetoes, get legislation passed without the governor's input. And that's something we can't have, because we saw what it was like under Governor Sisolak when Democrats had complete control of our state government, and it was disastrous. And that's why
it wasn't good.
That's why people voted for change last year.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't good. And it bothers me because, as probably a lot of you know, You know, Governor Lombardo is all about education, all about making the school system better, school safety, teachers, curriculum. And the Dems, for some reason, are throwing up these roadblocks. And we were talking before the show, and I can't figure that out, John. They've got kids too in school. Why would they want that?
Yeah, education is absolutely our top priority, and it should be because that's the future of our state. And we saw some successes this session with Governor Lombardo's agenda. A very important school safety bill was passed. We passed billions of dollars in new funding for education efforts. But school choice is an issue that the Democrats really did not want to see any compromise on, and they made no effort to do so, and they stood in the way of proposals that are supported by the vast majority of Nevadans from across the political spectrum. And school choice is something that we're absolutely going to keep campaigning on because it is the solution to try to make sure our schools get improvement, and that's what we need right now.
Absolutely, 100%. By the way, just to depart for a second, right after the first of the year, we are starting a new segment, if you will, before Pick Your Politics, and it's a segment that's going to be known as the Governor's Corner. We are going to interview certain candidates that really have been endorsed by the governor as well as other people because they see the importance of what this agenda needs to be going forward in the legislature. And I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to have them in studio. We're going to do a full show with them, find out their backgrounds, find out their philosophies, their opinions on things, and you'll get to know them. And like I keep saying at the end, you need to vet every candidate to see where they stand, to see if you agree, disagree before you cast your vote. But of course, the most important thing, you got to get out and vote. You could talk a good game, but you got to get out and vote, and that's what everybody wants. How did you get into the business? And it is a business of politics, doing what you are doing. What's your background a little bit?
Well, I've been doing political campaigns for my entire career, and it's been a great business. It makes a big difference in our daily lives. So it's something that I'm really proud to be a part of. And I've done a few campaigns in Nevada. This is a state that absolutely matters on a national scale. And it's a state that really is showing a very, very important way for other states because we have a low tax environment. We have a great business community here. And that's something worth preserving. I grew up in California, and we've seen what happened to that state under full Democrat control and policies that have really put that state into decline. And that has been to Nevada's benefit to a degree because a lot of people are moving out of there and coming here. And because they want to live in an environment where they can have lower taxes and a better home for their families.
Right. And you know what we're working on all the time, because if you look at the top of the Republican Party in Carson City, as you know, Governor Lombardo was the sheriff of Clark County for 2 terms. Our Lieutenant Governor, Stavros Anthony, retired with Metro as a captain. So you're looking at 2 guys that really know how to make things safe.
Absolutely.
And that's important.
Yeah. And that's why public safety is such a priority for the governor. And he's one of the few people, I think, who's in any position of leadership in our country who's had experience as a sheriff of a county as large as Clark County.
No doubt.
And
no doubt.
He's devoted his life to public service, serving his community. And that's why we really do need to make sure that he has as much ability as possible to govern, because we know that he is going to do the right thing for Nevada families.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. How does a candidate go about getting a PAC?
Well, we are going to be supporting these candidates with our PAC, and we're going to be making sure their message is heard by as many voters as possible. So we want to be there to support them, and we're supporting candidates who have been endorsed by Governor Lombardo. He's been announcing them for several weeks now, and he's made some great endorsements. We couldn't be more excited about the candidates who are going to be on the ballot in the June primaries and hopefully the November election, because it's going to be couldn't be more important to get candidates who are able to win these seats in a year that's going to be consequential. And we know about how important the presidential races, the Senate races,
Sure.
the House races are. Everybody's seen the ads on that. Everybody will see plenty of ads. But these state assembly and state Senate races, they really do have a massive impact on our communities. And that's why we need to make sure they're top of mind for people when they cast their ballots.
And I'm excited about meeting these people, getting to know them, introducing them to you, so you get to know them better. So when you do go vote, you remember, yeah, this guy's on the same page as I am, and he's on the same page as Governor Lombardo, and he's going to be a good guy. Let's start with one, because you know these people. David, is it Bragg?
Yes, sir.
Okay, he's running for Assembly District 37. Tell us a little bit about David, why you like him, why the governor likes him.
Well, he's somebody who has a really important experience. He used to lead Christians United for Israel, so he's very well versed on the issues that are facing the Israel-Palestine conflict, and that's something that's of course been in the news lately.
Oh yeah.
So that's you couldn't find a more steadfast ally of Israel there. And he's also got great experience at the federal level in the legislature. He worked for Senator Arlen Specter. So this is somebody who's really ready to get involved in the legislative process on day one.
Yeah.
And we need somebody who's really competent for that seat. He's running against Shay Backus, who's an assemblywoman. She's somebody who...
Got a little history.
Yes, absolutely. And some recent history, too.
Yeah.
There was a Nevada Independent story earlier this year about her involvement in an organization that defrauded the state. And that's something that she definitely should be held accountable for, you know. There's been a lot of examples of corruption in our state assembly, and it's one of the tragic things we've seen over the last few months.
Yeah.
There's been some great reporting by the Review Journal, The Independent, and a lot of other great outlets in Nevada that have really exposed the level of corruption we've seen, and it's mostly with the Democrats. It is almost entirely with the Democrats. So,
And not unique to Nevada, by the way.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
no, but we've seen really how deficient our ethics laws are in this state and how important it is we change those. But if it weren't for these investigative reports by these journalists, we have no idea about that.
Right. And it needs to be uncovered, and it needs to be corrected, and there needs to be change made. Annette Owens, who's running for Assembly District 29, I know you know Annette.
Yes, she is a lifelong educator. She's been involved in both the private and public school areas, so she's got great experience in looking at both sides of that issue. And as we've said, education is a top priority for Governor Lombardo. So getting someone in there who knows how school districts work, who knows how it works for students and teachers, that couldn't be more valuable right now.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Rafael Arroyo, Assembly District 41. And you particularly like him because you said he was an interesting guy.
Yeah, he's somebody we're very excited about. We're excited about all these candidates. Rafael is somebody who has been an entrepreneur, a small business owner. He's really been involved in that process, and that's a perspective that we don't have enough of in our Assembly and Senate. And somebody who knows those challenges when it comes to owning a business, setting one up, and working through that process. That's so valuable because these legislators are going to create laws that will affect everybody.
Everybody.
And we know economic diversification is a top priority for this state, making sure we have more businesses, that we're expanding because Nevada's always growing. He's somebody who can be a partner in that. And I couldn't be more excited to see his candidacy.
The next gentleman I got really excited about, and I said, no, it can't be the guy I'm thinking about. His name is John Steinbeck, and he's running for the Senate in District 18.
Yes, while he is not the literary author we're probably familiar with, he is somebody who has been a pillar of the community in Clark County. He's been the Clark County Fire Chief. He's spent decades serving his community as a first responder, as really a hero for his community. And that's somebody who we couldn't be more excited about to have in the state Senate, hopefully. And he's going to run a very energetic campaign. He's got a lot of support, a lot of momentum. The governor is very excited about him, clearly. He's got his endorsement. And I think you're going to see him do a lot of great things if we can get him into the state Senate.
John, will Governor Lombardo campaign for these people, physically go out and campaign, show up at events or whatever?
The governor has said he wants to campaign for these candidates, and he's going to be out there trying to make some efforts on getting these people elected because he knows the stakes of this. He knows he wants his entire term to be a success, and preventing a Democrat supermajority, preventing them from gaining absolute power over our state government couldn't be more important to ensuring we have a bipartisan government right now that's able to work for the people and not for the interests of one political party.
As everybody out there watching sees on the news every night what's happening to the country with the Democrats kind of running things, determining things, it's not good. It really isn't. So we can't let that happen here in the state of Nevada. We got too many great things going here in this state. And as you mentioned earlier, the state has become kind of a hotbed for things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And we've seen massively competitive campaigns for years in this state, going back really decades, actually. And it gets most press at the presidential level and the Senate level. And we've had some governor's races that have been very energetic. This one last with Governor Lombardo was, of course, as consequential as it could be. And a lot of people don't know this. Incumbent governors in any state, it's almost impossible to beat them for re-election. I think the last one who was defeated for re-election in any state was in Ohio back in 2010. And Governor Lombardo was the first Republican governor candidate to defeat an incumbent in election. So it was a really impressive victory that he had.
Yeah, it was.
And it's something that definitely gives us some momentum here as a party. But we have some challenges to overcome, and mostly that's with gerrymandering. We saw the Democrats, they drew their own maps when they had control of the government, which is an unfortunate part of the process here. If you control the levers of power every 10 years, you get to draw the maps. And that's the system we have in Nevada. And a majority of Nevadans voted for Republican candidates for their legislative seats, but we ended up with a Democrat supermajority in our state assembly. I think anybody who looks at that knows that's not right. But it's a result of the system that we have, and it's something that I know the governor has pushed for redistricting reform, and that's something we definitely want to keep top of mind because it is important to prevent this from happening again.
How does the governor go about, if you know, selecting a candidate whom he thinks is going to be on the same page, who is really going to fight for not only his agenda, but other things as well that he thinks is important to the state of Nevada?
Well, I can't speak for the governor himself, but I know that when he looks at these candidates, he's looking for people who are going to be able to win these races and fight for the principles that matter. And if you look at these candidates who we discussed, like Annette Dawson-Owens, like Rafael Arroyo, like John Steinbeck, and so on, they are people who are going to be partners for the agenda that he's put forward. And it's a popular agenda, and it can be summarized very simply. Safer streets, better schools, and more jobs. And those are things that everybody wants. And
everybody.
He's fighting for that.
Yeah, he is. He truly is fighting for that. And not only for the immediate effect, but I think you'll agree, John, for the future as well, because once these people get elected, they're gonna continue on, and who knows, maybe someday one of these people will end up running for governor, will be governor.
Well, we'll see what happens. We need a new generation of leadership, and these people can represent that, and we're very excited about that, and hopefully we can get as many of them as possible elected. We want all of them elected next November, and we're going to fight as hard as we can to make sure that happens.
What does the PAC do to get these people out to vote? Like I say, you could talk about somebody till you're blue in the face, but you got to get out and vote. What does the PAC do to get these people out, to encourage these people to vote?
Well, we work closely with the grassroots of the party, with folks who are involved in the processes at the volunteer level. We are active on engaging with the media on social media as well. You can see us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can also check out betternevadapac.com to get more information about us, because we are going to be working as hard as we can to make electoral success a reality for all of these candidates.
And if somebody wants to help out to better the Nevada PAC, vis-a-vis, I want to give you some money to give to some of the candidates. How do they reach you? How do they do that?
Well, you can see our website. It has a donation link there, betternevadapac.com, and that is a great way to help out and make sure we have the resources we need
Yeah.
to work as hard as we can to make sure these are as many victories as possible next November.
Yeah. That's the bottom line, folks. So you'll get a chance to meet all these people starting right after the first of the year, the governor's corner, and we're hoping also maybe one day we could get the governor in, talk about a few things. John's going to try to help me do that. We're going to talk about that on the golf course after the first of the year. John plays golf as well.
Not
So
very well, but I'll try.
he became a fast friend, so we're gonna do that. How many people work in the PAC, John?
It's
with
a-
you,
it's
you
a-
have a lot of other people
It's a
that are
good
helping
sized
you.
team, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're hoping we can be as large as possible to make sure we have the efforts we need. But
Yeah.
we have a great team. I couldn't be more excited to be working with the folks we have, and we're going to be out there working night and day to make sure we elect these candidates and support Governor Lombardo because this is as important of an election cycle as we've seen in this state.
Totally true. Totally true. Anyway, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on, taking some time. We're a little short today, but he's a busy guy. He's got meetings and meetings and meetings, and but that's okay. You kind of got the message, and John's going to be back again, so don't worry about that. But until then, again, we look forward to having you all tune in after the first for the Governor's Corner. We're going to introduce these people to you, and you'll find out what their philosophy is, how they're going to help you, how they're going to help the state, how they're going to help the kids. It's all a good thing. So until then, as I keep saying, you vet the candidates, but you got to get out and vote. So for John and I, appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you back same time, same place next week. So long, everybody.